go. So, Kim, tell me a little bit about Trick Bunny, how you got involved in it, and the premise. I want to hear all about it.
So, Dick Bunny is a comedy series that was envisioned by Susie Mendoza and myself a couple of years ago during the pandemic, or right before the pandemic, actually. We sort of started talking about collaborating, and we were like annoyed and frustrated by a lot of the mom content that we saw. It was really corny, it wasn't relatable. All the moms seemed to kind of like hate their kid instead of hating being a mom or like the performance and challenges of that. And we really felt like a lot of shows that were made for moms, quote unquote, were like afraid to go there, afraid to be funny, afraid to be raw, afraid to confront how off-putting and weird it is to go through the beginning of being a parent and the body changes and the sleep deprivation. So we sort of started talking about what would it look like to have a show, what would be important to us, in the telling of that, why they should, like why they should live in a house that's not big enough for all the people that live in it, why, like, even though it seems that way at first, why it should be messy, why she should be picking things up. And we invited this incredible woman, Katie Locke O'Brien, to direct and come on. And she read it, and I mean, she loved it. She reads everything. Katie is, a woman that I really admire. She's an actor who's become a director and has really knocked it out of the park. You can look through her bio and you're like, oh, she directed that show, that show, that show. So she really has a nice understanding of the industry and comedy and really got the kind of pathos of the script and was like, this is so weird. And we were like, we know. And she was like, I love it. I love how weird it is. Dick Bunny really has a lot of departures into surrealism. There are whole sections where we go inside of Max, the lead character, played by me, her mind. People say, what's going on in your head right now? And we cut to puppets and we start seeing just really these strange things, right? That have actually kind of been the window into, I think when we started making Dick Bunny, people were like, oh, it's a show for moms. And really, it's a show for anyone who's ever felt isolated. It's a show for anyone who's ever struggled with their own maybe like inability to understand how the world works or what's being expected of them. And I think the show really does a great job of that. It's been an incredible experience to make, and I'm so proud of it.
I'm proud of you. And what was the biggest challenge about working on the show? I mean, I know you're a huge part of it, so.
I mean, everything about it was really a challenge. Like I said, we kind of started talking we started working on the pilot script in, I want to say, February of 2020, and then everything went into lockdown. So there were different, like we shot the pilot episode and all of the puppet stuff um in the spring of 2022. And then Katie booked work and was gone. And so like there were really great challenges. And I mean, there were great challenges. They were things that made it really hard to actually physically make it, to finish it, to get the people we wanted. And they were all indicative of, the world opening back up and people getting to go back to work. But also, like having to be really creative. I reached kind of deep into my playbook. I was reaching out to people I've known since college at Boston University. I reached out to the woman that created Dick Bunny's look and kind of helped us create these really weird diaper bag jeggings that Susie envisioned. Is a costumer. She has been working at the Richmond Ballet and is a friend of mine since grad school. She actually just got a job at the Shakespeare Theater of DC. So it really was this kind of amazing opportunity to kind of pull together your A team. And that was the hardest part. I mean, like it was one of those things that helped me understand why so many people say, I don't know how it got made. I don't know how anything gets made.
And tell me a little bit about your character, Max, a little bit about the background of her, and do you relate to her, or if you don't, how do you want to relate to her?
I do. Max is very much based on conversations that Susie and I had. Susie came to see one of my stand-up shows and we were talking. We knew each other from a sketch group that we were both in, and she approached me and was like, "You are so dark. Like, I love it. You don't hold back. Like, you really." And I was like, "Yeah, well, I mean, that's how it really is. Like, that's what resonates with people." And so we really wanted to create um a lead character in Max that was relatable to us. That was somebody who looked around the room and didn't understand what everybody was getting. It was really important to me that she had a job that she cared about a lot, and that having a baby shifted that in a way that made her uncomfortable, because I think it's always played off as this pat, simple, there are two paths and you just pick one, and it's much more gray and murky. We wanted to make sure that Max, like she has a really kind of fraught relationship with her mom and it's never resolved. And that was important to me, that it wasn't all Norman Rockwell and unrelatable. I think I watch a lot of shows, and even shows I love, right? Where these families are always very healthily enmeshed, like forever, no matter what. And I think in reality most of the grown-ups I know, from young people that I coach to people that I work with, are lonely and struggling, and we feel like we missed things. And so it was really important to me that it was important to all of us that Max was representative of the work that we're doing to try and figure out how to be good people, how to be good moms, how to be friends as grown-ups. Like, that's a theme in the show. Like, what is a female friendship? What is a grown-up friendship? So all of those things, I think, really come through. We worked also really hard to weave in, like, Susie was really indulgent and wonderful. She was like, "What are your weird hidden talents? What's something you've always wanted to do?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I mean, I sing, but I'm not a singer. And I've always wanted to be in a band." And she was like, "Okay, the whole series ends with a music video." And so it does. So we wrote this song and it's on Spotify, and the whole thing is like incredible. We started shooting with this incredible camera operator, Steady Jess, on social media, if you follow her, who has done so many things. And I really got to make a lot of dreams come true making this series. I got to work with Drew Droege, who like, no lie, have been obsessed with since back in the early aughts when he was making the I'm Chloe Sevigny videos. And we looked and looked for Dick Bunny, and I finally said I really want it to be Drew. And I basically wrote him a love letter asking him to do this weird digital series shooting at my house with like no trailers, like, and he agreed to do it. So I mean, and we've become really dear friends. There's no one I respect more than Drew. I think he's a comedic genius, and he brought so much heart to the series that I think otherwise would have made it it's really relatable. I'm really proud that it's so bizarre and heartfelt at the same time.
Nice. Now, without giving too much away, what's one scene you're most looking forward to everybody seeing and why?
Uh, we have had several amazing opportunities to go to film festivals, and each festival has shown the pilot and then maybe a few other episodes. No one has seen episodes 3 and 4. And those are the episodes that are, no one has seen Lorraine Newman, original cast member from Saturday Night Live, playing my mom in this series. No, I mean, and it's like these little blips, but they're just so joyous. They're so funny. They're so relatable. No one has gotten to see Sheila Carrasco from Ghosts, who plays Flower in our show, who has this just gonzo episode. No one has ever seen it. So I'm really, really excited for people to see that. I'm excited for people to see the music video and get to know the band that helped us make the song. And I'm very excited there are just moments in each episode that I'm like, oh, I can't wait. That's going to be so fun. Whether it's like, the performances I'm talking about. I mean, we have Betsy Sodero. We have so many just incredible people that I look up to and that make me laugh so much. I'm just really, really thrilled that we're going to get to release it online. So August 15th, everybody. I hope everybody will stream it early and often.
Yes, yes. And if there are, well, let me rephrase that. When you make more episodes, how do you see your character going or the show going? And who do you want to see guest star?
Oh God, oh God, oh God. Okay. Well, I'm gonna start with Susie's talked a lot about what she envisions for season two. I'm definitely pulling for Max to go deeper into the chaos of Dick Bunny. I want to see women everywhere leaning into the chaos of what it's really like, whatever their lived experiences, whether it's parenting or otherwise. And I think there's some fun stuff in store. I think there may be other imaginary friends that come on board as
I
the season
like it.
develops and as the show develops. And I really love that idea. And I won't give too much more away about that. In terms of guest stars, we had so many people that you know, dates shifted. And so we had so many great people that were able to come and so many friends that couldn't join us. We, we got to see a lot of fun people, but I know that I would really like to see, um, Greg Hildreth, a lot of New York actors that are on Broadway, sadly, and very busy. A friend of mine, Andrew's Philip Teratula. I would really love to see. Um, we had so many amazing female comedians. We really tried to get Lyric Lewis, who is a groundling. My friend Kimber Shotwell Conduct is a groundling, and I wanted her to be in the show. Kiana Nicole Bartolomeo, Marquia Smith. There are just a lot of people that I would love to slot in. And I think what's fun about the show is it's very contained, which was wonderful for us as a web series until Max leaves the house. And then the world is your oyster because LA is so big and weird and such a tapestry of characters that it could go anywhere. And that makes me excited because the idea of having a show that shoots here in LA that gives people jobs, I love that.
Nice. And as an aside, the imaginary friends part of it, you know what it kind of reminds me of? Do you remember the show in the 90s, Unhappily Ever After, where the guy would talk to the bunny? That's what it reminds me of.
I forgot about that one. We've talked a lot about, well, we've gotten a lot of comparisons to Wilfred, and we see that. I haven't seen the new movie about the imaginary friends. I think is it called If?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I'm fascinated by that. And I just think, we also, a lot of comparisons we got early on were to Drop Dead Fred, if you remember that movie from the
Oh,
90s.
yeah.
And that felt really right on because I loved that movie when I was little. And now as an adult, I watch it and I'm like horrified. It's so weird. And that's accurate. I think life is so much weirder than we give it credit for. And I think, it's fun to get to work with women who are willing to boldly go and be like, oh no, what if it's this? What if it sprays in your face? What if it's gross? So I think we're having a lot of fun liberating ourselves from environments where we maybe weren't always invited to do that.
And what else are you working on, or is this pretty much your baby now?
This is it's really interesting for me personally because this is the first project that I've done on TV and film that's had like a life. I've done, like a small little movie and some other things that didn't have long festival lives, and so this has been honestly really weird. I feel like I did a play and it closed, and now people keep asking me to do more things. But it's in like the best way. I keep finding new ways to celebrate the show. I'm getting much better at promoting it. It's been really good for me to be an executive producer because I don't like promoting myself, but I'm happy to promote all the other amazing stars in the show and their work. And that has been good because it's helped me to kind of honor my multidisciplinaryness. Like we've got Tate Ellington, who is on Law and Order right now. He's in the show in one episode, and he's a painter. And there's this gorgeous painting that he made for us for the show that hangs behind Max and Dick Bunny in all of these scenes. Gracie Mercedes, who plays Max's best friend, she's doing collage art now and is also a writer. I'm currently working on a book. I'm working with a developmental editor and hope to query my first book this fall. And I'm in the process of transitioning my podcast from purely audio to also a YouTube format, and coming back with that. And mostly just trying to find more ways to offer my teaching and coaching for free and to teach more voice and movement classes here in LA. I've been lucky to do some stuff with IAMA and a few theater companies here. And it's really nice to stay busy doing that when there's not a lot of work and it's strikes and summers and all that.
And one thing I like asking people I interview is tell me a fun fact about yourself.
A fun fact about myself. A fun fact about myself that is actually related to Dick Bunny is that one of the things that we wrote into the script was that there's a scene where Max and Dick Bunny kind of like paint the town red. And she was like, "What are your hidden talents?" And I was like, "Well, I took pole dancing classes in grad school and I actually got a scholarship so that I could continue taking them because I wrote my thesis about a woman who kind of finds herself and liberates herself through pole dancing." And so there's this tiny little scene in Dick Bunny where Dick Bunny is trying to teach me how to dance. And that's where that comes from. And that's like, especially now, all these years later, I have not been on a pole in a very long time. As a mom, I think that's a funny, weird fact about me.
I like that. I like that. I hear it's good exercise too.
Incredible. I wish I still had my pole. I love that's my next project. I have a short film based on my thesis that's about that very thing.
Oh, we're just gonna have to bring you back to promote that too.
Gladly, I will let you know.
Yes. And since we're TV side too, what are you watching these days?
Oh, I have been we actually just went back and watched Devs, which I know came out like 4 or 5 years ago, but I had missed it. It's on Hulu and it's really about technology and humanity. And I found it to be gripping and funny and so smart. And Zach Grenier, who is just one of my favorite actors. Oh, I want him to come be on Dick Bunny. If we get to make Dick Bunny, I want fucking Zach Grenier. I think he is everything. It's all the character actors. There's so many I could just go off. But I really liked Devs. We, of course, we watched the really disappointing season 3 of The Bear, like everybody else. Which I just wanted, I think they're really good with dialogue, and I thought that was a missed opportunity, is how I'll put that. And then I am, what are we waiting for? I feel like we're waiting for some shows to come back. It's hard in the summer, but we went back and we watched The Americans, which I'd never seen. And I am a big proponent of shows that were forgotten. I'm constantly telling my students to try and find, Nurse Jackie or Manhattan or, the things that nobody saw that were just spectacular. And it's probably about time for a Gilmore Girls retread, if I'm being honest.
It's always time for that.
Right? A little
Now,
trip
what a
to Sao
good thing for your
Paulo.
students to, yeah, a good thing for your students to do is my professor did that when I was in college. I had everyone go in around the room and say their media confession or their guilty pleasure show and movie, and then we would all go and watch everybody's.
I love that. I often start, especially improv classes, by forcing people to rant about things they dislike because it's so uncouth and uncomfortable. And at first, people are like, well, I don't really know. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't like getting cut off. And you're like, no one likes getting cut off. And then people start going and everybody starts agreeing. And it's like, everybody gets activated, and it's like everybody has bad TV or good TV that they watch, like, what is it? What are you watching?
Obviously I'm watching the Olympics right now. I'm watching
Exactly.
Real Housewives, but my new obsession is the food that built America. Have you ever seen that?
No,
It's on
but tell
History
me.
Channel. Yes. Okay, so it goes into all the history of different foods like McDonald's, Kellogg's cereal, Tootsie Rolls, how it was all made, how they all started from nothing. Like I saw one last week about Mountain Dew. It was a lemon lime soda that was supposed to compete with 7 Up, but
Mhm.
then they made it into a cocktail with moonshine, then Prohibition and all that happened.
That is what's fascinating. I was trying to tell my son the other day, I was like, there used to be cocaine in Coca-Cola. And he was like, nuh-uh. And I was like, bro, for real. Like the world is crazy. Heroin. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Moonshine.
And lithium used to be in lemon lime soda. It was in the show too.
I
Your
wonder
son will
everybody
love
was
this show.
okay. I no, we totally will. They just got into how it's made, but that sounds right up our alley. And it's helpful too when you're like suddenly neurotic at the grocery store and like, we can't buy any frozen pizzas. My son was like, why? And I was like, the microplastics.
Yes, exactly. And it has a whole bunch of different spin-offs too, like mega brands, icons that built America, food booths and sex that built America.
Sammy, you're speaking my language.
Yes.
Okay, this is going to happen. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, because we've got a couple more weeks. I feel like something else is coming back, but I don't know. I don't know what else is coming. I feel like it's been strike, non-strike forever, you know?
Yeah. It's been crazy, but Only Murders is coming back in August too.
That's the one. I was like, there's something that we watch that we're excited about. Yes, my son just got into Only Murders, so he's now very ravenous and like, when is it coming back? Which is very exciting. He just is about to turn 13. So he's not used to, I mean, obviously, we grew up in an age where I remember when Felicity got in the cab and we didn't know if she went with Ben or Noel. And it was like
Yes.
the whole summer of 1999, that's all anyone talked about, even people who didn't care, you know, it's like Ross and Rachel stuff. And so he's like,
Yes.
when is it back? What's going to happen? Where are they going to go? Who got killed? And I'm like, oh, buddy, just you wait.
Yeah. It was like waiting for Rachel's baby daddy on Friends, speaking of.
Yes. I miss those big reveals.
Oh, but you'll appreciate this about that reveal. It was right after 9/11, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just starting college. It was like, the second week of classes,
Oh
and the
my gosh, you
president
were
was
a
going to speak
freshman?
right before. Yes, I was. It was crazy. And the president was supposed to speak right before the episode. And we told our professor, we want to go watch Friends. We want to go watch Friends. He's like, if you get someone to say they want to watch the president speak, I will let you guys go early. So we have our friend Ethel, who's a 6 foot something basketball player, coming. She's like, tell him you want to see the president speak. She's like, I don't want it. She's like, and she's like, can we see the president speak? And like nobody was paying attention in class. He's like, and finally, after like, it was a 3 hour class, after an hour, he's like, go watch the president or baby daddies or whatever.
That's amazing. Oh my God. It was right after 9/11. I remember going up to the towers to watch that because we were all like, let's just be together. We did not watch the
Yeah,
president.
yeah. It was crazy. And then I think he secretly wanted to watch too, so he didn't really care.
Right? That's all anybody was worried. He probably got an advance copy.
Probably, yeah.
Muck. Ugh, oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, appointment television. I hope that Dick Bunny can be that for people. I hope we can make it fun and, even in the little 6 episodes, there are twists and turns and you don't always know what's going to happen. And I'm excited for people to see it.
I will make sure to promote it. And where can we find you on social media so we can continue to follow this amazing career of yours?
Thank you. You can follow me at the Kim Griffin, TheKimGriffin on mostly Instagram. But if I'm somewhere else, it's under that handle. But that's the only place I really take care of. I've gotten bad at Facebook. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not missing much on Facebook.
That's the problem. Every time you go on, you're like, more ads, more games, more people I don't know.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so I'll send you a follow on Instagram, and it was a pleasure to speak to
No.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for covering Holly Shorts. And I can't wait to connect again.
We will. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.